So here we are again, staring down the barrel of another crazy week in Port Charles, and honestly, I am just so tired. I've been sitting at my keyboard for what feels like 10 hours straight, just staring at the screen and trying to process what the writers are doing right now. But I care about this show, I really do, even when it makes me want to pull my hair out. And right now, the whole Marco Rios situation is just, it is a lot to take in. General Hospital, spoilers for the week of March 23 to 27, are basically screaming at us that Marco is going to be a goner by Monday's show. And I have thoughts. So many thoughts. Let's just dive right into this messy, bloody storyline, because I need to vent before I lose my mind. First of all, let's talk about Alexis Davis. Poor Alexis. The woman cannot catch a break. I mean, seriously, what did she do to the writers to deserve this constant barrage of trauma? On the Friday, March 20 episode, we saw Alexis getting ready to leave the office. She was heading out to Danny Morgan's basketball game, which, by the way, is a whole nother dramatic mess with Jason leaving town and the guardianship stuff, but I digress. So Alexis is leaving, and she runs into Marco. Marco had just arrived at the office for the day, and before she heads out the door, Alexis gives him some very specific instructions. She asks Marco to ensure he provides handwritten notes upon reviewing a legal file. Handwritten notes. Now, on the surface, this just seemed like light dialogue, right? Just a boss telling her employee how she wants something done. But come on, you guys. We know how this show works. We have been watching this soap for years. They do not just throw in a weirdly specific detail like handwritten notes for no reason. It's a setup. It has to be a setup. Could this end up being a lot more important than it seemed? I am betting my last dollar that it is. Because as that March 20 episode came to a close, we saw Marco sitting there working away at his computer, completely oblivious to the world. And then, in creeps WSB director Ross Cullum. Cullum. Just typing his name makes me shudder. The guy is an absolute menace. He crept into that office with a knife behind his back. A knife? It was so chilling. And we all know why he's there. Cullum is onto Marco's little ploy? Marco, in his infinite wisdom, decided to help Britt Westbourne get her hands on a vial of her Huntington's disease medication, which, okay, was a noble thing to do for Lucas Jones's sake. But Cullum saw Marco digging around in his father's safe at Windermere earlier that week, Jen Sidwell's safe, and Cullum quickly began to feel like Marco was about to betray him and their precious cold fusion project. And then Pascal got involved. Of course, Pascal got involved. He gathered some intel, realized the meds were missing, and ran straight to Cullum. So, Cullum knew that Marco was about to jeopardize the completion of Caesar Faison's final project. And Cullum is not the kind of guy who just sits back and lets things happen. He takes action. Brutal, immediate action. Which brings us to Marco's final hooray. Honestly, most of us fans couldn't help but feel like Marco's days were numbered. We saw the writing on the wall. Lucas Jones saw the writing on the wall. Lucas was so worried that Marco was placing himself in danger. He warned him. He literally told him that Cullum was dangerous. But Marco had this bizarre blind spot. He truly believed that being Jen Sidwell's son meant nothing could touch him. He thought his last name was a magical shield that would protect him from a ruthless WSB director. Lucas mentioned his reservations numerous times. That is a clear indication that trouble was headed Marco's way. When a soap character says, "I have a bad feeling about this 3 times in 1 week, someone is going to die." It's just soap math, but Marco didn't listen. Maybe I'm being too harsh on the guy. He was trying to do a good thing for the man he loved. But still, what was he thinking? Who actually believes that stealing from a guy like Cullum is going to end well? So now we have this setup. Marco at the desk. Cullum with the knife. Alexis's strict instructions about the handwritten notes. Will Marco have a pen in his hand when Cullum murders him? I can see the scene playing out in my head right now, and it is gruesome. Cullum is going to stab him. All the spoilers point to Cullum either stabbing Marco or slashing his throat right there in the law office. It's going to be a bloody, violent end for a character who really just got in way over his head. But here is the million-dollar question. Cullum may immediately leave the scene of the crime, as Marco breathes his last breath. He's a professional, he's not going to hang around. But could Marco gather enough strength in his final moments to write something down? Could he place the word Cullum or even just a bloody C on the legal documents where his notes were supposed to be? I mean, Alexis literally told him to write on the file. If he has a pen in his hand or even just his own blood on his fingers, he could leave a dying clue. Is this how the police are going to figure it out? Or maybe Jack Brennan is already sniffing around, trying to figure out what Cullum is up to. If Brennan or the cops find a file with a bloody C on it that changes everything, because Cullum is smart, he's meticulous. He's not going to plan on going down for this crime. As a way to escape Jen Sidwell's vengeance and police scrutiny, Cullum is going to make sure the trail leads somewhere else. And where is he going to point the finger, Sonny Corinthos? Of course, it's Sonny. It always comes back to Sonny, doesn't it? Cullum is going to set Sonny up to take the fall for Marco's murder. And Sidwell is going to buy it hook, line, and sinker. Sidwell is going to be devastated by the loss of his son, and he's going to vow to make Sonny pay. He's even going to confide in Ava Jerome about it, which is just going to make Ava panic because she shares a kid with Sonny. The ripple effects of this one murder are going to be massive. But let's go back to the clue for a second. If Marco leaves a clue, it might not be found right away. Or maybe it gets overlooked in the initial chaos. Because Alexis is the one who is going to find the body. On Tuesday, March 24, Alexis is going to walk into her office and discover Marco's corpse. Can you even imagine? She's going to be absolutely horrified. She'll probably check for a pulse, but she'll quickly realize there's no hope. The poor woman is going to be traumatized. Again. I really hope she gets some good scenes out of this, because Nancy Lee Grahn always knocks it out of the park when she's given heavy emotional material. And then there's Lucas. My heart breaks for Lucas. Elizabeth Baldwin is going to be the one to deliver the terrible news to him on March 25. It's going to be a crushing blow. Marco's horrific exit is going to rock Lucas to the core. Brad Cooper is going to step up to support him, which is interesting. Brad won't want to take advantage of Lucas while he's vulnerable, but he won't leave him alone either. It's going to be a very emotional storyline for Lucas, and I'm glad he's getting some screen time, even if it's tragic. But the real twist in all of this is Jocelyn Jacks. Jocelyn, who has been ranting non-stop lately about Sonny needing to be brought to justice. Jocelyn wants Sonny's downfall more than anything, but the spoilers say Jocelyn is going to put her thinking cap on and connect some crucial dots around March 26. She's going to solve the puzzle. She's going to figure out the stolen medication drama, the fact that Marco was killed for trying to help Britt, and she's going to realize that Cullum is responsible. And she's going to realize that Cullum is making Sonny the fall guy. So now Jocelyn is facing this massive dilemma. Sonny is actually innocent for once. It makes perfect sense for the show to put this knowledge in Jocelyn's hands. Does she really want Sonny to go down like this for a crime he didn't commit, especially when Cullum is far more dangerous than Sonny at this point? Letting Cullum get away with killing Marco could lead to him committing even more heinous crimes. He's already threatening Britt's life and holding her hostage at Windermere. Jocelyn might have to put her personal vendetta aside and do the right thing. She might have to make it her mission to take Cullum down, even if it means Sonny walks free. And that is going to put her in so much danger. If Cullum figures out what she's up to, Jocelyn could be his next target. I actually love this development. It forces Jocelyn to grow up a bit and look at the bigger picture. Okay, maybe that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. She has to choose between her petty hatred for Sonny and stopping a literal psychopathic WSB director, and while all this is happening, Jason Morgan is trying to deal with his own mess. He was supposed to meet Britt at the pier to escape to Canada, but Dante arrested him on a WSB warrant in the gym parking lot. So Jason is delayed and Britt is left waiting. Cullum blocks Britt's escape and orders her back to Windermere. Jason is going to realize he's too late. And we all know Steve Burton is taking a short break from the show to deal with some real-life stuff, so Jason is probably going to be kidnapped by Cullum or made to disappear. It's a convenient way to write him off for a few months, but it's going to leave Britt completely terrified and alone. It's just so much chaos. The whole canvas is exploding right now. We've got Lulu investigating Cullum and landing in danger. We've got Tracy interrogating Brooklyn about baby Phoebe. We've got Christina crushing on Michael's girlfriend Jacinda. And we've got Drew trapped in his own body while Willow and Sidwell drug him. It's exhausting to keep track of, but I can't look away. So will you miss Marco on the canvas? Honestly, I'm torn. I think he had potential. He was an interesting bridge between Sidwell's dark world and Lucas's more grounded life. But he was also incredibly naive. He played a stupid game, and he won a stupid, bloody prize. I just hope his death isn't in vain. I hope he managed to scribble that C on the file. I hope Alexis finds it or Jocelyn finds it and they use it to nail Cullum to the wall. Because if Cullum gets away with this and Sonny goes to prison for it, I am going to throw my television out the window. But that's General Hospital for you. They build these characters up, they give them these intricate little storylines, and then they slash their throats in a law office on a Friday cliffhanger. It's brutal, it's messy, and it's why we keep watching. So I'm gonna go pour myself another cup of coffee, stare at Twitter to see what the fans are saying, and brace myself for the bloody aftermath next week. Let's just hope Alexis has a good cleaning service for that office because it is going to be a disaster zone. Alright, I'm rambling now. My brain is fried. I'm going to hit publish on this monstrosity of a blog post and go take a nap. Let me know in the comments if you think Marco left a clue or if you think Cullum is just too smart for that. And seriously, someone, please send Alexis Davis a fruit basket or something. The woman needs a vacation. A long, long vacation far away from Port Charles and its endless supply of murderers. See you guys next week.